Hello and welcome back to Storytime with Granny Ricky. Today I'm going to ask you right at the beginning to subscribe to this channel so that you can get notifications when there's a new story out. And it also helps me to keep going if I know that there are people out there listening to these stories. I really enjoy reading them. Help me to keep going. The story we're reading today is called The Ant and the Grasshopper. It's one of Aesop's fables. Aesop lived about 2,500, 2,600 years ago. That's a long time ago. So this story has been around for centuries. This particular edition has been rewritten by Miles Kelly and illustrated by Barbara Vagnozzi. You will see that the illustrations in this book are really colorful and beautiful. It was a warm, sunny summer day. There was a grasshopper in a field, and he was hopping about, chirping and singing very loudly. Every day he sang, danced, played music, and ate to his heart's content. Look at that grasshopper, having an absolute whale of a time. He's singing and hopping about and eating to his heart's content. I can also see two ladybirds in that picture. Beautiful little beetles with red and wings and black polka dots. After a morning of singing and dancing, the grasshopper started to feel tired. He lay back on a leaf, dozing in the sun. There he is, reclined against a leaf, falling asleep. On the ground, just beneath the sleeping grasshopper, an ant was hard at work. Huff, puff, here's the ant carrying something really big on his head. Huff, puff, huff, puff. And over there is a yellow and black bee flying around. The ant's huffing and puffing awoke the grasshopper, who looked down from his comfy resting place to see what the noise was. Why are you working so hard? You should be resting and enjoying yourself. Like me, the grasshopper said to the ant. I have to work hard. I need to get all of my food stored and my nest ready for winter, said the ant. Okay, so there the ant is working hard to get his nest ready for the winter and also to store up food for the winter. But winter isn't for months, the grasshopper said. Come and play with me. I don't have time for playing, the ant said. I have too much to do. You should start collecting food and preparing your home for winter. I don't want to work or be inside on a beautiful day like this, replied the grasshopper. Okay, so that grasshopper is clearly not wanting to work. He's just lazing about in the sun. So the grasshopper kept playing. He sang songs and danced in the field. Munch, 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 munch. He slept in the sun and ate lots of food. The ant continued to work, storing food and making his nest warm and cozy for the winter. Here's his nest under the ground, and there's the ant there. And he's going into his ant heap, making ready for the winter. In no time at all, the sun disappeared and the weather turned cold. The field became covered in a layer of frosty white snow. Winter had arrived. Brrr. Look at that grasshopper now. He's very cold. Brrr. The ant was prepared for winter. While the snowflakes fell outside, the fire crackled inside his little nest. There's his fire burning bright inside the nest, and he's nice and cozy inside. He had enough food to see him through the cold months ahead. Look at all his food that he's collected. Everything he could want for the winter. Do you see that? And outside it is snowing and seriously cold. The grasshopper searched for food, but he could not find any. He was very hungry. And he had no shelter from the falling snow and bitter winds. Oh, the wind is blowing and the snow is falling and the poor grasshopper is left outside in the icy weather. The grasshopper remembered the ant he had met in the summer. He knocked on his door and asked him if he had any spare food. "Why don't you have any food of your own?" asked the ant. "Did you not store any in the summer? What were you doing?" "I was so busy dancing and singing and eating that I didn't do any work at all," said the grasshopper. Oh goodness, so he really is quite forlorn. He's got no food, he's got no shelter, and it's so cold outside. And now he admits that he did no work at all. The grasshopper looked truly sorry and ashamed. He promised the ant he would work hard next summer and store his own food. So the ant gave him as much food as he could spare. It was just enough to see the grasshopper through the winter, but it was a miserable few months for him. Okay, so the ant did save the grasshopper by sharing his food with him. But that grasshopper was cold. Next summer, the grasshopper was as good as his word. He worked hard to store food. Look at him at work there. He worked hard to store enough food for himself. The grasshopper even found time to help the ant, to make up for his bad behavior and thank him. So next winter, the grasshopper didn't go hungry. He had learned his lesson and now worked as well as played. There is a time for work and there is a time for play. And that now is the end of this story. That's quite true. We've all got chores that we need to do. And when the chores are done, there's plenty of time to play. And if we don't do our work, oh, well, then we always seem to get caught in a spot of trouble, don't we? Let's say goodbye after you've subscribed, or you can continue watching another story. I'm so glad you enjoyed this one with me. I sure enjoyed reading it. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, Serena. Mwah.